Depression after 60 isn't just a bad mood or a rough patch. It's a silent illness that can steal your energy, your memory, your relationships, and in too many cases, your life. Here's the chilling truth. Older adults are more likely than any other age group to hide their depression, and even more likely to have it missed completely by doctors. That means hundreds of thousands of seniors are walking around thinking they're just tired, or that this is what aging feels like, while in reality, their brains are starved of the very chemicals that make life feel worth living. And the worst part, many of them don't even know it, but if you stay with me, I'll walk you through the real signs doctors miss, why depression in seniors looks different, and how to take back control. The most important tip, the one that's helped my own patients feel like themselves again, is at the very end. Please don't miss it. Most people think of depression as just being sad, crying a lot, maybe staying in bed. But in people over 60, it's far more subtle. Sometimes it looks like physical pain. Sometimes it looks like forgetfulness. And sometimes it doesn't look like anything at all until it's taken root so deeply the damage is hard to undo. But here's the truth. This is not just part of getting older. Your brain doesn't have to shut down with age. Your energy, your mood, your drive to connect, they don't disappear just because you blew out 60 candles. Depression is a medical condition. And it's treatable. You can feel better. How old are you? Write your age in the comments. I want to know who's watching, and I do reply to everyone. And let me ask you something personal. Have you ever had a day or a week or even a month where you just couldn't feel anything? Not joy, not sadness, just flat? That numbness is one of the sneakiest signs. If that sounds familiar, keep listening. Let's start with something many people ignore. Fatigue, not just being tired after a long day, but a kind of bone-deep exhaustion that no nap seems to fix. If you're over 60 and find yourself waking up tired, needing more sleep than usual, or dragging yourself through everyday activities with no motivation, don't brush it off. Depression often robs the brain of dopamine and serotonin, chemicals responsible for energy and pleasure. When those are depleted, even simple tasks like brushing your teeth can feel monumental. To fight this, start with light exposure in the morning. Open your blinds as soon as you wake up. Even 10 to 15 minutes of daylight first thing helps reset your brain's clock and stimulates serotonin production. And if you can pair it with a short walk, even better. Movement and light are your allies. Another red flag, aches and pains with no clear cause. If your back hurts, your joints ache, or you feel physically uncomfortable in your body but doctors can't find a medical reason, depression may be involved. Studies show that older adults with depression are more likely to experience unexplained physical pain. That's because the brain's pain centers become more sensitive when mood-regulating chemicals are low. Painkillers won't help if the cause is emotional. But low-impact exercises like Tai Chi or swimming, paired with gentle stretching and a consistent sleep schedule, can work wonders. And if the pain persists, ask your doctor to screen for depression specifically, not just arthritis or nerve damage. Have you noticed yourself withdrawing from people, skipping phone calls, turning down visits, even from people you love? Isolation is one of the earliest and most dangerous signs of depression. It becomes a vicious cycle. You feel low, so you cancel plans. Then you feel guilty for canceling. Then even worse because you're alone. But the human brain is wired for connection, especially as we age. Research shows that seniors who maintain regular social contact are significantly less likely to develop depression. Start small. Call one friend today. Say yes to one coffee invite. You don't have to host a party. Just open the door. Here's one that surprises a lot of people. Appetite changes. Are you eating too much? Too little? Lost interest in food altogether? Depression often disrupts hunger signals in the brain. Some people find themselves mindlessly snacking. Others forget to eat entirely. Either way, your nutrition suffers, and so does your mood. Your brain needs stable blood sugar and essential nutrients to function well. Try this. Prepare a simple 3-ingredient meal today: protein, healthy fat, and a vegetable. Something like grilled chicken, olive oil, and steamed broccoli. It doesn't have to be gourmet. It just has to nourish you. Now, let's talk about memory. If you're forgetting things more than usual, misplacing keys, or struggling to focus, don't panic. It might not be dementia. Depression can mimic memory loss. It's called pseudodementia. It's not that your brain is failing, it's that it's overloaded by emotional weight. In older adults, this is often misdiagnosed. If your memory problems come with mood swings, low energy, or sleep trouble, it's worth exploring a mood-related cause. Mental clarity often improves once depression is treated. Keep a daily journal. It helps track both mood and memory and gives your doctor real insight into what's going on. One especially dangerous sign that often gets overlooked: a lack of hope. Not quite suicidal, but a deep, unshakable sense that nothing will ever improve. If you've caught yourself thinking, "What's the point?" or "I guess this is just how life ends," please know, those thoughts are symptoms. They are not the truth. Depression lies. It distorts reality, but it can be treated. Talk to someone, a doctor, a therapist, a friend. Say it out loud. That's the first step toward healing. Sleep disturbances are also a major clue. Are you waking up in the middle of the night, struggling to fall asleep, or waking up far too early and unable to go back to sleep? Disrupted sleep is more than an inconvenience. It's a warning signal from your brain. Seniors with depression often enter lighter stages of sleep and get less REM sleep, the stage responsible for emotional regulation. A nighttime routine helps. Try going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even on weekends. Avoid screens 2 hours before bed, and consider magnesium supplements or chamomile tea to promote calm. But if sleep doesn't improve, don't just take a pill. Ask your doctor why. Mood swings and irritability are often misunderstood. If you find yourself snapping at people or feeling more emotional than usual, crying during commercials, getting angry over small things, it might be your brain asking for help. Depression isn't always quiet sadness. Sometimes it's loud, restless frustration. Breathing exercises help regulate the nervous system. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Do this 3 times a day. It's like a reset button for your mood. And here's a subtle but important sign: neglecting basic self-care. Skipping showers, wearing the same clothes for days, letting dishes pile up. If that sounds familiar, it's not laziness. It's often a sign that your brain has stopped valuing effort because it's stuck in survival mode. Depression tells you nothing matters. But small actions can break that spell. Make your bed, brush your hair, open a window. Each small win sends a signal to your brain. I still care. I'm still here. Let's also talk about one more sneaky sign: loss of interest in things you used to enjoy. Maybe you loved gardening or woodworking or baking, but now even the thought of doing those things feels exhausting or pointless. This is called anhedonia. It's not just being bored. It's your brain's reward system shutting down, and it's deeply connected to chemical imbalances in serotonin and dopamine. One strategy that works well, especially for older adults, is something called behavioral activation. That means scheduling just one small, pleasurable activity each day, even if you don't feel like it. Over time, your brain starts to remember that it can feel good. Even if it's just 5 minutes of listening to your favorite music with your eyes closed, that's a win. Now, I want to make something very clear. Depression is not a sign of weakness. It is not your fault, and it's not something you can just snap out of. It is a medical condition, real, measurable, and treatable. And the older you are, the more careful your doctors need to be in recognizing it, because too often the symptoms get blamed on just aging. But aging doesn't have to mean feeling numb or exhausted or joyless. Your brain is capable of healing, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. There are several treatment options available, and no, they're not all medications. While antidepressants can be life-changing for some, especially when prescribed and monitored carefully, many older adults also benefit from therapy. In particular, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, has been shown to be very effective in treating late-life depression. It helps you retrain your thoughts, recognize negative patterns, and rebuild a sense of control. If therapy feels intimidating, start by talking to someone you trust. Sometimes just having a real conversation with someone who listens is enough to begin feeling better. Lifestyle also plays a powerful role in recovery. Nutrition, light exposure, movement, social connection, these aren't just nice to have in your golden years. They're essential. Your brain needs fuel, sunlight, and human contact. It thrives on purpose and structure. Even small changes can produce meaningful results. Something as simple as a 10-minute walk after breakfast or calling one old friend every Sunday can shift your entire week. Now, I promised you the most important tip would be at the end, and here it is. If you suspect you, or someone you love, might be struggling with depression after 60, don't wait for the sadness to show up. Pay attention to energy, to sleep, to focus, to changes in habits or social withdrawal. These early clues often appear weeks or months before any feelings of sadness emerge. The earlier you notice them, the easier they are to treat, and if your doctor dismisses your concerns, insist on a screening. Ask directly, could this be depression? Because catching it early could save years of suffering, or even save a life. Let me remind you what we've talked about. Depression in older adults is common, but often missed. It doesn't always look like sadness. It can look like fatigue, pain, forgetfulness, irritability, or even physical decline. But these are not just signs of aging. They're signs your brain needs help. And there are real effective ways to heal. You don't have to go through this alone. Small changes add up. Your body and your brain can bounce back. And the moment you decide to speak up, to take one small step, that's the moment you start to reclaim your life. If this video helped you understand yourself or a loved one better, please take a second to like it and subscribe. It helps more than you know. And share this with someone who may be quietly struggling. You never know whose life it might change. Tell me in the comments, which sign surprised you the most? Or, what do you do to lift your spirits on hard days? I read every comment, and your words might help someone else who's going through this right now. And if there's a topic you want me to cover next, something that matters to you, something that's been on your mind, let me know. You are not invisible, you are not forgotten, and you are definitely not alone. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.